How many mornings have you woken up already feeling behind, before your feet even touch the floor? You grab your phone, you see someone younger than you, someone you went to school with. They are on a beach, they are driving a luxury car, they are holding keys to a new home, and you are still here. The world screams at you, get rich fast, faster, you are running out of time. But what if this race is a lie? What if the finish line they are showing you is an illusion? What if the people you envy are actually trapped? What if that fast money is a cage, not freedom? What if the shiny object is a mirage, and the closer you get, the faster it disappears? Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to stop running. Today we are going to challenge this entire idea of fast wealth. We are going to talk about the path that nobody posts about. The slow path, the quiet path, the real path. We live in a world that is obsessed with speed. We want our food fast. We want our information fast. And we want our success fastest of all. We are told, over and over, that if we are not wealthy by 30, we have somehow failed. We see the stories, the crypto millionaire, the real estate prodigy, the person who built a business in 6 months, and we feel a pressure, an invisible weight on our shoulders. It is the fear of missing out. It pushes us to take risks we do not understand. It makes us jump onto trends that are already fading. It makes us listen to promises that sound too good to be true, because they are. We see these promises everywhere. How to make $10,000 per month with no experience. How to flip properties with no money down. We are sold a dream, but we are not shown the reality. We are not shown the debt. We are not shown the sleepless nights. We are not shown the person who lost their entire life savings. We are only shown the one winner. We are not shown the 99 losers. We are chasing easy money. But easy money is the most expensive money you will ever make. It costs you your peace of mind. It costs you your sleep. It costs you your integrity. And in the end, it often costs you all the money you made, and more. We have seen this story before, again and again. We see the boom, the sudden explosion of wealth. But we forget to watch for the bust, the inevitable collapse, the person who had $5 million one day, and $3 million in debt just a year later. The business that looked like a rocket ship. That was actually just a firework, bright, loud, and gone in an instant. This is not success. This is a gamble. Today, we are going to talk about something different. We are going to talk about sustainable wealth. This is the wealth that does not disappear when the market turns. This is the wealth that is built, brick by brick, on a foundation of real value, of real skill, of patience, and of process. It is the wealth that compounds, quietly, over time. It is the wealth that lets you sleep at night. It is the wealth that gives you freedom, not just the appearance of freedom. We will talk about why haste makes waste is not just an old saying, but a fundamental law of finance. We will talk about why true success requires time to bloom, and why the most valuable skill you can learn is the ability to know fear, not to be a coward, but to be wise, to respect risk, to plan, and to build something that lasts. We are going to redefine what it means to be rich. It is not just a number in an account. It is peace. It is stability. It is autonomy. Because this is serious, let me pause. Before the day rushes in, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, only if you truly enjoy what I am doing here. And in the comments, write your location, your time zone, and the time right now, this morning. Now open the curtains and let the light in. Pour a glass of water. Maybe brew a coffee or tea. Set your phone to Do Not Disturb and take one deep breath. Let's begin our journey this morning. Chapter 1. The Invisible Pressure. Social Media and the Illusion of Success. It begins quietly, most mornings. It is the first thing you reach for. Before you drink water, before you see the sun, you reach for your phone, and in that moment, you invite the entire world into your bed. But you are not inviting the real world. You are inviting a performance. You open an app. You scroll. And the invasion begins. You see a person. They are standing on the balcony of a beautiful hotel. The ocean is blue. The breakfast looks perfect. They are smiling. They look peaceful. They look free. You scroll again. You see someone your age. They are stepping out of a car that costs more than your entire education. They are holding keys. They are wearing a watch that costs more than your rent for a year. You scroll again. A friend from college. They just announced their new company, their new promotion, their new life. Everything looks effortless. Everything looks perfect. And with every scroll, a small, quiet message is sent to your brain. You are behind. You are not doing enough. You are failing. This is the invisible pressure. It is the great illusion of our time. We are living in an age of constant comparison. But it is not a fair comparison. We are comparing our entire, complex, messy, real lives with the single best, most filtered, most carefully selected snapshot of someone else's life. We are comparing our behind the scenes with their highlight reel. This is a game you can never win. It is designed to make you feel inadequate. It is designed to make you feel impatient. What does this constant exposure do to our minds? It creates a powerful, deep, and painful anxiety. It is the fear of missing out. This is not just a catchphrase. It is a genuine psychological burden. It is the constant, nagging feeling that everyone else is at a party you were not invited to. It is the belief that everyone else was given a secret manual for success, and you are the only one who did not get a copy. This feeling is a lie, but it feels intensely real. This fear of missing out changes your goals. It warps your definition of success. Success is no longer about finding meaningful work. It is no longer about building a strong character, or learning a valuable skill, or contributing to your community. Success becomes a picture. It becomes something you must show. It becomes a visible, public display of wealth. If you cannot post a picture of it, did it even happen? This pressure distorts your reality. You begin to believe that this curated world, this world of endless vacations and luxury goods, is the real world. You start to believe that this is normal, and your life, your normal, steady, average life, is abnormal. We forget that a social media profile is a marketing document. It is not a biography. People are selling you a version of themselves. They are managing their personal brand. They do not post the failures. They do not post the crushing debt that paid for that vacation. They do not post the loneliness. They do not post the 10 years of grinding work that it took to get there, or the lucky break they got. They only post the result, and this makes us deeply, profoundly impatient. We stop thinking in terms of years. We stop thinking in terms of decades. We start thinking in terms of months or weeks. We see the result, and we want it now. This pressure does not just come from the screen. It follows us into our real lives. It comes from the people we love. It comes from our families, our parents, who want the best for us. But their idea of the best, is also being shaped by these illusions. They hear about a distant cousin, a friend's child, someone who got a high-paying job in technology, someone who just bought a new house. This is the age-old story, the story of the neighbor's perfect child. But in the past, this comparison was limited. You only had to compare yourself to a few people in your small town. Now, because of the internet, you are being compared to everyone, everywhere in the world, all at once. Your parents might ask, "Why are you not doing that? Look at this person. They are so young and so successful. They do not mean to hurt you. They are afraid for you. They see the world speeding up, and they are worried you will be left behind." Then there is the pressure from our peers, our friends, the people we started with. We go to a reunion, or we just see their updates online. It seems like they are all moving faster. They have the impressive job title. They have the beautiful apartment in the city. They are getting married, buying homes, having children. We feel a toxic mix of jealousy and panic. We think, what am I doing wrong? Why is it not happening for me? We start to doubt our own path. We look at our slow, steady, quiet progress, and we mistake it for failure. This is the great tragedy. We mistake stability for stagnation. This combination is dangerous. The digital illusion of perfection and the real-world social pressure to keep up. It creates a desperate need for a shortcut. When you are feeling left behind, when you are feeling impatient, when you are feeling desperate, you become the perfect customer. You become the perfect target for anyone selling an easy answer. Your impatience makes you vulnerable. Your anxiety makes you gullible. So when someone comes along and whispers in your ear, when they show you an advertisement, when they promise you financial freedom in 90 days, when they promise you a way to earn 6 figures a year from your laptop, working only 2 hours a day, you want to believe it. You want to believe it so badly, because it would solve everything. It would silence the critics. It would impress your family. It would make your friends jealous. It would give you that perfect picture to post. It would finally make you feel successful. So you jump. You buy the course. You invest your small savings into the high-risk asset you do not understand. You join the program. You stop building, and you start gambling. You stop learning a real skill, and you start chasing a secret formula. You are trying to catch up in a race that is not even real. You are competing against ghosts. This is the ultimate danger of the invisible pressure. It does not just make us feel bad about ourselves. It makes us make bad decisions. It makes us sabotage our own future. It convinces us to trade our long-term peace for a short-term thrill. It convinces us to abandon the proven, timeless path of building real, sustainable wealth. This is the environment we live in. It is an environment designed from the ground up to make us impatient. It is an environment that profits from our anxiety. It profits from our comparison. It profits from our desperation. The very first step to building sustainable wealth, the most important step, has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with stocks or real estate or starting a business. The first step is to recognize the illusion, to see the pressure for what it is, a performance, a magic trick. The first step is to take back control of your mind, to unplug from this toxic, unwinnable race. It is about consciously, deliberately, choosing to reject it. It is about closing the window, putting down the phone, and looking at your own life. We must build our own definition of success, a definition that is not based on what we can show, but on what we can build. a definition that is real and sustainable and quiet and ours. Chapter 2. The Temptation of Easy, the Hollow Promise of Get Rich. Quick schemes, that invisible pressure we spoke about. It leaves a mark. When you feel behind, when you feel impatient, when you feel that growing panic. Something else happens. You become a target. Your mind, your bank account, your future. They all become targets for one of the oldest and most dangerous ideas in the world, the promise of easy. This promise is a temptation. It does not shout. Not at first. It whispers. It whispers to you when you are tired. When you have had a long week. When you are looking at your bills, it says, there has to be a simpler way. It whispers to you when you see that person on social media. The one who is traveling the world. The one who seems to be doing nothing, and yet has everything. It says, they know something you do not. This whisper is powerful because it speaks to a deep, fundamental part of our human nature. We are all wired to conserve energy. We are designed to find the shortest path, the path of least resistance. We all want the maximum reward for the minimum amount of effort. This is not a flaw in your character. It is just a part of being human. It is the lottery ticket mindset. We all dream of that one magical event, that one winning number, that one lucky break. That will solve all our problems, instantly. We dream of waking up one morning, and everything is fixed. No more struggle, no more worry, just freedom. The get-rich-quick industry knows this. They do not just know it. They have perfected the science of exploiting it. They understand your impatience. They feed on your fear of missing out. They have built an entire world of marketing, designed to find that exact point of vulnerability and press on it. Hard. How do they do it? First, they sell you a secret. It is never just hard work. It is never just a good idea. It is always a secret formula, a hidden loophole, a system that the rich do not want you to know about. This language is deliberate. It makes you feel special. It makes you feel like you are about to join an exclusive club. Second, they sell you the illusion of automation and passive income. You will hear phrases like, make money while you sleep, or, our system does all the work for you. They show you pictures of a laptop on a beach. They paint a picture of a life where money just flows to you, automatically, effortlessly, while you do nothing. This is a powerful fantasy for anyone who feels overworked and underpaid. Third, they create extreme urgency. They tell you spots are limited, or this offer ends tonight, or only the first 50 people will get this bonus. This is designed to shut down your logical brain. It is designed to make you panic, to make you act on emotion, not on reason. They do not want you to stop and think. They do not want you to do research. They want you to feel that same fear of missing out. They want you to think, this is my one chance. If I miss this, I will be left behind forever. Fourth, they show you overwhelming proof. They will show you testimonials, screenshots of bank accounts, videos of people crying tears of joy. They will rent a mansion for a weekend. They will lease a Lamborghini for a day. They will surround themselves with the symbols of wealth. They do not have to be wealthy. They only have to look wealthy, for long enough to convince you. This entire performance is a machine designed to take your hope and your money, and this machine is fueled by the illusion of simplicity. This is perhaps the most deceptive part of all. when we see that young person with the supercar, the one we mentioned in our last chapter. We do not see the full story. We see a simple, clean picture. We think, wow, they must be smart. They found one simple trick. We think, they just bought the right crypto at the right time. Or, they just launched one simple product. Our minds create a simple story, a story that makes it seem achievable, insta-kill. We do not see the reality. We do not see the massive trust fund that paid for the car. We do not see the 10 years of failed businesses that came before the one success. We do not see the 99 people who tried the exact same thing and lost everything. We only see the one survivor. This is survivorship bias. It is one of the most powerful tricks our minds play on us. We celebrate the one who wins the lottery. We completely ignore the millions who lost. The get-rich-quick scheme sells you this same false simplicity. It tells you, it is just one simple system. Just follow these 3 easy steps. This is a hollow promise, because true success, the kind that lasts, it is never simple. It is always complex. It is messy. It is difficult. It is filled with problems and setbacks and failures. Real estate success is not about one no money down trick. It is about understanding market cycles and property law, and managing tenants, and negotiation, and managing risk. Stock market success is not about one secret signal. It is about deep financial analysis and understanding economic trends and emotional discipline and patience, decades of patience. Business success is not about one automated funnel. It is about creating a real product or a real service that solves a real problem for a real person. It is about marketing and sales and leadership and customer service and logistics and 1,000 other hard things every single day. The temptation of easy is so strong because it gives us permission to skip all that hard work. It tells us we do not need to learn, we do not need to build, we do not need to master a skill. We just need to find the shortcut. And this is the real cost, the real danger. It is not just the $1,000 you lose on a useless course. It is not just the $5,000 you lose on a bad investment. The real cost is the time you wasted. Time you could have spent learning a real skill. Time you could have spent building a real business. The real cost is the mental energy you burned, chasing shadows. The real cost is the opportunity. The opportunity to build something solid, something sustainable, something real. You must develop skepticism, not cynicism. Cynicism is the belief that nothing can work. Skepticism is the understanding that real rewards require real effort, or real risk, or real value. When you hear a promise, you must learn to ask hard questions. What is this person selling, and why are they selling it, if their secret system is so profitable? Why are they not just using it themselves, quietly? Why are they spending all their time and energy and money selling it to you? The answer is often painfully simple. They make their money by selling the dream, not by living it. Where is the value being created? Is this just moving money around? Or is something real being built? Is a customer being served? Is a problem being solved? What is the real risk? Not the risk they tell you, but the risk they hide. What happens if this fails? Can I lose more than I put in? Am I protected? The path to sustainable wealth begins with rejecting the temptation of easy. It begins with accepting a simple, but difficult truth. There are no shortcuts. There are no secret formulas. The path is not a lottery ticket. It is a blueprint. It is not a gamble. It is a construction project. It requires you to show up. It requires you to learn. It requires you to work and to build. It is a slower path. It is a quieter path. It is a harder path. But it leads to a real destination. It leads to a house built on solid rock, not a house of cards, ready to collapse at the first gust of wind. Chapter 3. Warnings from the past. Haste makes waste and the boom and bust cycle. There are sentences. They are so old. We have heard them so many times that they almost lose their meaning. We hear them from our grandparents. We read them in old books. They feel like cliches. They feel like simple advice from a simpler time. One of these sayings is, haste makes waste. Another is the idea that what comes up violently must come down violently. The sudden explosion always leads to the sudden collapse. We hear these words, but we do not listen because we live in a modern world. We have technology, we have the internet, we have data, we think. Those old rules do not apply to us. We are faster. We are smarter. This is a terrible mistake. These phrases are not just nice sayings. They are laws. They are like the law of gravity. They are fundamental descriptions of human nature and of economic cycles. They are timeless because human nature itself is timeless. The world changes, the technology changes, but people do not, for hundreds of years. We have been telling ourselves the same stories, and we have been falling for the same traps. The names change, the assets change, but the pattern is identical. This pattern is the boom and bust cycle. It is the story of human greed, followed by human fear. Let's travel back in time. Let's go to Holland, almost 400 years ago. They had a new, exciting, beautiful asset. It was a flower, a tulip bulb. These were not just flowers. They became a symbol of status, a symbol of wealth, a new kind of money. People started buying them, not to plant in their gardens, but to sell to someone else for a higher price. And it worked, for a while. Prices started to climb, and as prices climbed, more people rushed in. They saw their neighbors getting rich, and that fear of missing out, that powerful, toxic feeling. It took over the entire country. People sold their homes, they sold their businesses, they sold their land to buy one single tulip bulb at the peak. A single bulb could be sold for the price of a large house in Amsterdam, or 10 times the annual salary of a skilled craftsman. People believed it would go up forever. They believed it was a new economy. They believed this time is different. And then, one day, it stopped. One person decided the price was insane, and they decided to sell. And the person they sold to tried to sell, but there was no one left to buy. And in an instant, greed turned into fear. Everyone rushed to sell at the same time. The price did not just go down, it vanished in a few weeks. Those same tulip bulbs, the ones worth a mansion, were worth nothing. They were just flowers again. Fortunes were gone. An entire nation's wealth wiped out. Haste made waste. The violent boom led to the violent bust. Now let's jump forward to a time that many of us remember. The late 1990s, the dot-com bubble. We had a new technology, a world-changing technology, the internet. And it was truly revolutionary. It was changing everything. How we communicate, how we shop, how we live. And people got excited. They started businesses, called dot-com companies. Many of these companies had no product. They had no profit. They often had no revenue. They just had a website and an idea. But the story was so good. The temptation was so strong. People believed that these companies were the future, and they started buying stocks, just like the tulips. They were not buying because the company was solid or profitable. They were buying because they believed someone else would pay more for it tomorrow. Stock prices doubled, tripled, went up 1,000%. University students were becoming millionaires on paper. People quit their jobs to sit at home and day trade. They poured their retirement savings into companies that had never made one single dollar. And what did they say? They said, "This time is different." They said the internet has changed the rules of economics. They said profits do not matter anymore. Only growth matters. Only getting eyeballs mattered. And then it stopped. The money ran out. The promises wore thin. People started to ask, where are the profits? And the fear returned in an instant. The selling began, and it did not stop for 2 years. Trillions of dollars wiped out. Companies worth billions went to zero. Fortunes built on nothing evaporated. The boom led to the bust. Now, look at today. What do we see? We see cryptocurrencies. We see real estate frenzies. We see new, exciting, world-changing assets. And what do we hear? We hear that this time is different. We hear that the old rules do not apply. We hear people quitting their jobs to trade digital coins they do not understand. We see people going into massive debt to buy a house at an inflated price because they are terrified the price will go up forever. The asset is different. It is not a flower. It is not a website. It is a digital token or a piece of property. But the human psychology is 100% identical. It is driven by greed, the intoxicating, arrogant feeling that you are a genius, that you have found the secret, that you are getting rich, and it feels so good. And it is driven by fear, the deep, painful fear of missing out, the panic that if you do not buy today, you will be priced out forever. You will be left behind. Any wealth that is built on this foundation is not wealth at all. It is an illusion. It is built on sand. It is built on the greater fool theory. The idea that you can buy something overpriced because you believe a greater fool will come along and buy it from you for even more. This is not investing. This is a game of musical chairs. And the entire strategy is to just not be the last one standing when the music stops. Sustainable wealth, the kind we are here to talk about, is the exact opposite. Sustainable wealth is not a game of musical chairs. It is the act of building the chair. It is the act of building something of real, lasting value. It is not built on finding a greater fool. It is built on serving a real customer. It is built on mastering a real skill. It is built on owning a real, productive asset. Acknowledging this pattern, this timeless boom and bust cycle, is the first step to freedom. It allows you to step outside the madness. You can watch the crowd. You can see the greed. You can see the fear. But you do not have to be a part of it. You can choose a different path. A quieter path, a more deliberate path. You can let go of the need to get rich by next Tuesday, and you can start the real, important, beautiful work of building a rich life, day by day, brick by brick, on a foundation of solid rock. Chapter 4. Lessons from Stumbles. The essential value of knowing fear. We are taught to be fearless from a very young age. We are told that fear is the enemy. It is the obstacle. It is the thing that holds us back from our dreams. We celebrate the risk takers, the ones who are all in, the ones who jump without looking. We call them brave. We call them courageous. But what if this is a lie? What if this idea of fearlessness is actually a trap? What if fear, the right kind of fear, is not a weakness at all? What if it is a fundamental, essential component of long-term success? The speaker who inspired this entire journey, he said something profound. He did not say he wished he was more brave. He did not say he wished he had taken more risks. He said he wished that he had learned to know fear much sooner in his life. He was not wishing for cowardice. He was not wishing for paralysis. He was wishing for wisdom. To understand this, we first have to understand the mind of the novice, the mindset of the person who has just started and who has just had their first few easy wins. This mindset is not one of fear. It is one of pure, unfiltered arrogance. When you are in a boom market, like the ones we discussed in the last chapter, and you make money, you make a lot of money, very fast. Your brain does not tell you that you were lucky. It does not tell you that you were just in the right place, at the right time. No. Your brain tells you that you are a genius. It tells you that you have figured it out, that you have a special skill, a secret knowledge that other people do not have. This feeling is intoxicating. It is one of the most dangerous feelings in the world. This genius mindset is aggressive. It is always on the attack. It is what we might call bloodthirsty. It only sees the upside. It only calculates how much more it can win. It never, ever stops to ask the most important question. What if I am wrong? What can I lose? This person sees caution as weakness. They see someone who is sitting on the sidelines as a fool. They see someone who diversifies as being too scared. They go all in on one idea, one stock, one property, because they are 100% certain that they cannot fail. This is the blindness that comes right before the fall. This is the person who is running at full speed, in the dark. So how do we get from that dangerous place to a place of real, sustainable wisdom? The answer is not pleasant. We learn by failing. We learn by getting hurt. We learn by stumbling. Think about how a child learns to walk. A child does not learn to walk by reading a book about physics and balance. A child learns to walk by standing up and falling down 1,000 times. Each fall, each bump, each small moment of pain is a piece of data. It is a lesson. It teaches the child's brain and their muscles how to adjust, how to balance in the world of building wealth. These stumbles are your education. They are the tuition you pay for real-world experience. It is the first business idea you had, that you were so excited about, that failed completely. It is the first investment you made, based on a hot tip from a friend. That went to zero. It is the small mistakes that cost you a few $100s or a few $1,000s. These stumbles are painful. They hurt your bank account. But more importantly, they hurt your pride. They are a direct hit to that feeling of being a genius. And this is their true value. These small failures are the antidote to arrogance. They teach you respect. They teach you that the market is bigger than you. They teach you that you are not invincible. They teach you that you can be wrong. And they teach you that you will be wrong. This is how you begin to know fear. The veteran, the person who has been in the game for 10 years, or 20 years, or 30 years, they are not fearless. In fact, they are filled with a very specific, very intelligent kind of fear. This is not the paralyzing fear that stops you from acting. It is not the anxiety that keeps you in bed. It is a strategic fear. It is a protective fear. It is the constant, quiet voice in their head that whispers, "What if this does not work? What is the downside? What is the worst-case scenario? And can I survive it?" The novice asks. "How much can I make?" The veteran asks. "How much can I lose?" This strategic fear is the most valuable asset you can have. It is not a cage that holds you back. It is a shield that protects you. It manifests in very practical, very specific actions. Actions that are the exact opposite of the get-rich-quick mindset. First, it creates discipline. When the novice hears a hot tip, they jump in. They are driven by the fear of missing out. They do not want to miss the rocket ship, the veteran. Who knows fear? Stops. They wait. They are more afraid of losing money than they are of missing an opportunity. They do the research. They read the boring reports. They ask the hard questions. They do their due diligence. They assume every opportunity is a bad one, until they can prove, with data, that it is a good one. Second, it creates diversification. The novice, who thinks he is a genius, takes all his money, and he puts it on one single bet. He is certain he is right. He wants the biggest possible win. The veteran, who knows fear, understands that the future is unknowable. They know that even the best, most researched idea can fail. A pandemic can happen. A new technology can emerge. A law can change. So they never go all in on one thing. They diversify. They spread their risk. They build a portfolio of different assets. They ensure that no single failure, no single bad event can ever wipe them out. Third, it creates contingency planning. The novice has only one plan. Plan A is get rich. They have no plan B. When plan A fails, their entire world collapses. The veteran, who knows fear, lives for plan B and plan C and plan D. They build an emergency fund. They have cash saved for 6 months or a year of living expenses, just in case. They build multiple streams of income, so if one stream dries up, they are still safe. They build a life that is anti-fragile, a life that can take a hit, and not just survive, but get stronger. This is the essential value of knowing fear. It is the shift from being a gambler to being a builder. A gambler tries to win one big prize, all at once. A builder tries to build something that will last for 50 years. The novice wants to win the game. The veteran wants to stay in the game. And the only way to stay in the game is to manage your downside. It is to protect yourself from those catastrophic, irreversible losses. The kind of losses that take you to zero. The kind that force you to start all over again. Those early stumbles, those small failures, they are gifts, if you learn from them. They are the inoculation against the arrogance that destroys so many people. Do not try to be fearless. Try to be smart. Try to be prudent. Learn to respect risk. Learn to protect what you have. That is the only way you will ever have the chance to build something truly great. Chapter 5. The Big Picture. Why true success needs time to bloom. We live in a world that is obsessed with speed. We want everything now. We look at a 10-year plan and we feel exhausted. We think it is too slow. We think we are wasting our lives. We have been trained by the instant notifications on our phones. We have been trained by the culture of overnight success. We have been trained to value the sprint and to despise the marathon. But I want to introduce you to the most powerful, the most magical, and the most underrated ingredient in building real, sustainable wealth. This ingredient is not a secret. It is not a trick. It is not a loophole. This ingredient is time. We have a strange and distorted idea in our culture. We celebrate the young founder, the person who is a millionaire by 25. We put them on the cover of magazines. We tell their stories, and we make it seem like that is the only way. We make it seem like that is the normal way. But this is an illusion. It is a dangerous distortion of reality. The data shows us something very, very different. The most successful entrepreneurs, the ones who build the most valuable, the most lasting, the most robust companies, they are not in their 20s, they are in their 40s, their 50s, or even their 60s. Why is this? Is it an accident? Is it because they just got lucky later in life? Did they just finally get their one big break after decades of waiting? No, it is not an accident, and it is not luck. It is accumulation. It is the result of the single most powerful force in the universe, the magic of compounding. We all understand compounding in one simple area: money. You put $100 in an account. It earns 5% interest. The first year, you earn $5. It is nothing. It is almost pointless. The next year, you earn interest on the $100 and also on the $5 of interest. It is still small, but after 10 years, it starts to feel like something. After 20 years, the growth starts to accelerate. After 30 or 40 years, the curve becomes an explosion. It is a wave that sweeps upward. That is the magic of time. This is the secret. This is the big picture. This same magical, compounding force. It applies to everything in your life. Let's talk about knowledge. You read one book. It does not change your life. You read a second book. You feel a little smarter. But by the time you have read 500 books, over a period of 10 years, you are not just a little smarter, you are a different person. Your knowledge has compounded. The ideas from one book connect to the ideas from another. You start to see patterns. Patterns in history, patterns in human psychology, patterns in business. You see patterns that no one else sees. You can make decisions with a clarity and a speed. That looks like a superpower. But it is not a superpower. It is not genius. It is accumulation. It is the result of time. Now let's talk about skills. This is the idea of mastery. We often hear about the 10,000-hour rule. The exact number does not matter. It could be 5,000 hours or 20,000 hours. The point is the same. You cannot rush mastery. You cannot become a world-class surgeon, or a master carpenter, or a brilliant programmer, or a great artist in 6 months. It is impossible. The first year you practice a skill, you are terrible, you make mistakes, you are slow, and you are clumsy. The second year, you are just okay. You are average. But in year 5, you are good. You are reliable. In year 10, you are an expert. You are so good that what you do looks like magic. People will see your work, and they will say, "Wow, you're so talented." They do not see the 10 years. They do not see the thousands of hours of frustration, of practice, of failure, of repetition. They only see the final, polished result. Your skill has compounded. Now let's talk about your reputation. Your reputation is the single most valuable asset you will ever build, and it cannot, under any circumstances, be built overnight. Your reputation is built by doing the right thing, over and over and over, when you show up on time, every single time, for 10 years. People do not just call you punctual, they call you reliable when you deliver on your promises, big and small, every single time, for a decade. People do not just call you capable, they call you trustworthy when you treat people well, with respect, even when you do not have to, even when no one is watching. For 20 years, people call that integrity. You cannot buy this. You cannot fake this. You cannot get it with a clever marketing trick or a viral video. It must be earned through thousands of small, consistent actions. It must be earned with time. And this leads to your relationships, your network. A real network is not a list of contacts on your phone. It is not a pile of business cards. A real network is a web of deep, trusting, meaningful relationships. These are relationships built on years of shared history, years of helping each other, years of offering value, with no expectation of an immediate return. These are the people who know you, who trust you, who will support you. These are the relationships that will open doors for you, that will save you when you fail, that will give you the honest feedback you need. These relationships only come with time. So, let's go back to that 50-year-old entrepreneur. Why are they so successful? Because they are not starting from zero. They are starting with 30 years of compounded assets. They are starting with compounded knowledge. They see the market in a way the 20-year-old cannot. They are starting with compounded skills. They know how to lead a team. They know how to negotiate. They know how to sell. They know how to manage a crisis. They are starting with a compounded reputation. When they walk into a bank or an investor's office, people trust them. They have a track record of integrity, and they are starting with a compounded network, a web of people built over decades who are ready and willing to help them succeed. The 20-year-old has none of that. They have energy, they have speed, but they have no foundation. They are a kite in a hurricane. The 50-year-old is a deep-rooted oak tree. This is the big picture. This is why true success needs time to bloom. We are told to race. We are told to sprint. But this is not a sprint. This is not even a marathon. A marathon has a defined finish line. This is a garden. You cannot plant a seed in the ground on a Monday and then stand over it on Wednesday, yelling at it. Where is my tree? Why is there no fruit? It does not work that way. It is absurd. You have to plant the seed. You have to water it. You have to protect it. You have to give it sunlight. You have to do the small, boring, unglamorous work every single day, for years, and for a long, long time. It will feel like nothing is happening. But under the ground, where no one can see, the roots are growing. They are growing deep. They are growing strong. They are building a foundation. And then one day, after years of quiet, patient, consistent work, the flower blooms, the fruit appears, and people will come from nowhere. And they will look at your success, and they will say, "Wow, you are an overnight success." Let them say it. You will know the truth. You will know that the overnight took 10 years or 20 years. So we must stop asking, "How fast can I get there?" We must start asking a much better, much more powerful question. How well can I build this? And how long can I make it last? Chapter 6. The Inevitable Collapse. Real stories of boom and bust. In our last chapters, we have talked about the theory. We have talked about the psychology. We have talked about history. We have used old sayings: haste makes waste, boom and bust, a violent explosion, leads to a violent collapse. It is easy to hear these as abstract ideas, as fables, as metaphors. They are stories about Dutch tulips or dot-coms from a generation ago. They do not feel personal. They do not feel real. Today, we are going to make it real. We are going to move away from the theory, and we are going to tell the concrete stories, the stories that are happening right now, or that just happened, to people just like you. These are the case studies, the true stories of boom and bust. These are the stories of what happens when the bubble that feels so safe and so exciting finally bursts. Our first story is about the new frontier, the digital gold rush. We are talking about the crypto market, specifically the massive roaring boom that peaked around 2021. Imagine a young person. Let's call him a man in his mid-20s. He is smart. He is ambitious. He grew up on the internet. He sees the old systems, the banks, the stock market, as slow and boring and corrupt. Then he discovers this new world, a world of digital assets. It is exciting, it is revolutionary, it is decentralized, and it seems like the single greatest opportunity of his lifetime. He takes a few $100s, maybe a few thousand, and he invests it. He buys some digital coins, and he watches. In a few weeks, his money doubles. He feels a thrill. He feels smart. Then, the real boom begins. The fear of missing out that we talked about. It infects the entire planet. Everyone is talking about it. Money is pouring in. His few $1,000s becomes 50,000, then 100,000. He is not just a participant anymore. He is a genius. That is what his brain tells him. He has found the secret. He is smarter than his parents, smarter than the old investors. He starts to get more aggressive. He is not just buying and holding. He starts trading. He learns about leverage, futures, ways to make high-risk bets, to amplify his winnings. He is not just bloodthirsty for the win. He is arrogant. He believes he cannot lose, and his bets pay off. His $100,000 turns into 500,000, then 1 million. He is a millionaire on paper. He is 26 years old. He continues to trade. He is brilliant. The market keeps going up. It rewards his every move at the absolute peak. His portfolio is worth over $5 million. He has done it. He has beaten the game. He has achieved in 2 years what his parents failed to achieve in 40. And then, just like in Holland, just like in the dot-com crash, the music stops. It does not stop slowly. It stops all at once. A few large players sell, the price dips. People who were using leverage are forced to sell. This triggers more selling and more. Greed instantly turns into panic. Our genius trader, he sees his $5 million become 4 million, but he is not worried. He tells himself, it is just a dip. He buys the dip. He borrows more. Then it becomes 2 million, then 1 million. The panic starts to set in. He is not a genius anymore. He is just afraid. He tries to sell, but the market is falling too fast. His leveraged positions, the things that made him a millionaire, are now working in reverse. They are amplifying his losses. 6 months later. 6 short months. After he was worth $5 million, he is not just back at zero. He is millions of dollars in debt. He did not just lose his profits. He lost his original money, and he lost money he did not even have. His life is ruined. He is in a hole so deep, it will take him decades to climb out. This is not a metaphor. This is a true story. It happened to thousands, tens of thousands, of young people who confused a bubble with their own brilliance. A violent boom led to a violent and deeply personal bust. Now, let's tell a second story, a different asset, but the exact same psychology. Let's talk about real estate, property, land, the safest asset in the world. Imagine a developer, a small businessman. He starts by building one house or one small apartment building. He does good work. He sells it. He makes a good profit. He takes that profit, and he borrows some money from the bank, and he builds two houses. The market is good. Real estate is going up. He sells both. He makes an even bigger profit. He feels good. He feels smart. He is a builder. He is creating real value. The market keeps getting hotter. Interest rates are low. It is easy to borrow money. Everyone wants to buy property. The fear of missing out is everywhere. People are afraid if they do not buy a house today, they will be priced out forever. Our developer, he is not a small businessman anymore. He is a big player. He is not building two houses. He is planning a project with 200 houses. He is building a large apartment tower. He is borrowing millions, tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars. And the banks, they give it to him because he looks like a genius. Everything he touches turns to gold. He is at the peak of his power. He is managing projects worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He is celebrated in the local newspaper. He is the definition of success. He is arrogant. He believes the market will only go up. He has no plan B. And then the music stops. The world changes. Interest rates, which were near zero, start to climb, to fight inflation. Suddenly, borrowing money is expensive, and a potential home buyer who could afford a mortgage last year cannot afford one this year. The buyers simply vanish. Our developer, he is stuck. He has massive loans on projects that are only half finished. He has to pay interest on those loans every single month. But he has no buyers. He has no money coming in. He tries to lower the prices, but it is not enough. He is trapped. The boom is over. The bust has begun. And here is the punchline. This man, who was confidently managing hundreds of millions of dollars just 1 year before, he is now in his office. He cannot pay his staff. He cannot pay the electricity bill. He is trying to borrow money, not millions. He is trying to borrow a few $100,000 just to survive, just to keep the lights on for another month, and no one will lend it to him. He is wiped out. His projects are skeletons, half-built and rusting. His reputation is gone. His wealth is gone. He went from a king to a beggar in less than 18 months. What is the lesson here? What is the common thread between the crypto trader and the property developer? It was not the asset. One was digital and new. One was physical and old. The common thread was arrogance. The common thread was leverage, borrowing money, or using high-risk tools to make a bet. And the common thread was a complete and total lack of knowing fear. They had no respect for the downside. They had no plan B. They thought the boom would last forever. They were driving at 100 miles per hour with no brakes and no seatbelt. This is the reality of boom and bust. It is not an abstract theory. It is a description of financial gravity. What goes up too fast, without a real foundation, must and will come crashing down. Chapter 7. The Trap of Arrogance. When money blinds. Reason. We have seen the wreckage. We have told the stories. The crypto trader, who went from $5 million to millions in debt. The property developer, who went from managing hundreds of millions to begging for a few thousand. When we look at these stories, it is easy to blame the market, we say. The market crashed. Or the interest rates went up. We blame the external world. We blame the asset. We blame the system. But we are missing the real story. We are missing the most dangerous part. The market did not force the trader to use massive leverage. The interest rates did not force the developer to borrow hundreds of millions of dollars. With no backup plan, something else was at work. Something inside them. Today, we are not talking about external markets. We are talking about the internal battle, the battle that takes place in your own mind. We are talking about the single most effective destroyer of wealth that has ever existed. We are talking about arrogance. This is the trap of hubris, the trap that is set, not when you are failing, but when you are winning. Let us go back to that moment, when the crypto trader was at his peak, when he was worth $5 million. What was he feeling? He was not feeling grateful. He was not feeling lucky. He was not feeling humble. He was feeling like a genius. He was feeling invincible. He believed he had a special insight, a power that others did not possess. He believed he was not just lucky. He believed he was right. He looked at the world, and he saw fools. He saw the people who did not get it, his parents, his old professors, the traditional investors who warned him to be careful. They were all dinosaurs. He was the future. This is the moment the trap springs shut. This is the moment when money, especially fast money, blinds your reason. It is a poison to the mind. When you believe you are a genius, what happens next? The first thing that dies is your ability to listen. Why would a genius need to listen to advice? Why would someone who is invincible need to listen to a warning, a friend, a partner, a mentor? Someone who cares about you comes to you, and they say, "Wow, you have done so well. This is incredible. Maybe you should take some money off the table. Maybe you should sell 10%, just to be safe, just to lock in some of those winnings." How do you hear those words? You do not hear them as love. You do not hear them as prudence. You hear them as an insult. You hear. You do not know what you are doing. You hear. You are weak. You hear. You are afraid. And you feel anger. You feel pity for this person who is so timid, so small-minded. They just do not see the big picture, not like you do. So you dismiss them. You might even mock them. You just do not understand the new economy, you say. You are still living in the old world. You are content with your 5% per year. I am changing the game. Arrogance builds a wall around your mind. It creates an echo chamber. And the only sounds it allows inside are the sounds of agreement, the sounds of applause. You stop seeking out wise counsel. You start seeking out other geniuses, other people who are just as arrogant and just as lucky as you are. You huddle together, and you congratulate each other on your brilliance. You reinforce each other's delusion. This is the first step to the collapse. You have blinded yourself. You have unplugged your own warning system. Now, the second thing happens. Because you are a genius, and you cannot be wrong. You do not just hold your position, you increase it. You start to believe your own hype. You do not just stay in the game, you double down, you triple down. You find new ways to take on more risk, because risk, to you, is not risk. It is opportunity, and you are the only one smart enough to see it. This is where leverage comes in. This is where the developer, instead of finishing one project and starting the next, starts 10 projects at once, using the bank's money, This is where the trader, instead of just holding his coins, starts using futures and margins, borrowing money to make even bigger bets. Arrogance whispers in your ear, "You are so smart that it is almost irresponsible for you not to use leverage. Why make $1 million when you could make 10 million? You have now become the architect of your own destruction. You have built a tower of success that is so tall and so unstable, it can no longer survive even a small gust of wind. The market does not even need to crash. It just has to stop going up. It just has to pause. The moment the market goes sideways, the moment the flood of new money slows down, your entire system, which was built on the assumption of up only, begins to tremble. The payments for your leverage are due. The interest on your loans must be paid. The arrogance instantly evaporates, and it is replaced by pure, cold terror. You realize, in a horrifying flash, that you were not a genius. You were just a fool with a lucky streak. This is the trap that has caught the smartest people for all of human history. So, how do you avoid it? If winning is the trap, how do you ever win? You fight this internal battle with the same discipline that you use to build your business or your portfolio. The antidote to arrogance is humility. It is not a passive, weak humility. It is an active, a strong, a strategic humility. It is what we call the beginner's mind. The beginner's mind is always learning. It is always curious. It is always asking questions. The beginner's mind knows that it does not know everything. The expert, the genius, is in constant danger because he thinks he knows the final answer. The beginner is always safe because he is always looking for new information. You must actively and purposefully cultivate this. You must, as a rule of life, seek out dissenting opinions when you have a new investment idea, a new business plan. You must not just share it with your friends, who will pat you on the back. You must find the smartest person you know, who holds the opposite view, and you must invite them to try and tear your idea apart. And you must not listen to defend. You must not listen to argue. You must listen to understand. You must ask them, "What am I missing? Tell me why I am wrong. Show me the flaw in my thinking." This is an act of strength, not weakness. You must surround yourself with people who are not afraid to tell you the truth, people who will challenge you, people who value your long-term success more than your short-term feelings. And when you win, when you have that moment of success, you must be the first person to remind yourself, "That was good, but there was luck involved. I did well, but I could have been wrong." This is one win. It does not mean I cannot lose the next one. This is not about feeling bad about your success. This is about protecting your success. The arrogance that blinds you is the mechanism that guarantees the bust. Your ego is a liability. It is the one thing that can take all of your hard work, all of your sacrifice, and burn it to the ground in an instant. Master your market. Master your craft. Yes, but first, and always, master yourself. Chapter 8. Building a strong foundation. The path of sustainable growth. We have spent a great deal of time in the dark. We have walked through the wreckage of the boom and bust. We have seen the traps, the arrogance, the illusion of easy money. We have deconstructed the lies and the hollow promises. Now, it is time to turn on the lights. It is time to stop talking about what not to do and to start the real, the practical, and the beautiful work of building. This is the constructive part of our journey. This is the blueprint. If the get-rich-quick path is a house of cards, built on sand, built to collapse at the first breath of wind, then we are here to learn how to build a fortress. We are here to build on solid rock. We are here to build something that lasts. Where do we begin? It begins with the most simple and most profound idea of all. It is the idea that was captured in the analogy of the noodle soup seller. If you want to have a successful noodle soup shop, if you want to be busy every single day, if you want your customers to come back again and again, for 10 years or 20 years, the marketing matters a little, the location matters a little, the price matters a little, but only one thing truly matters. The soup must be good. It must be delicious. It must be consistent. It must be made with care. You must create real, undeniable value. This is the core philosophy, the absolute center of all sustainable wealth. You cannot trick your way to long-term success. You cannot market your way there. You cannot find a secret loophole or a hidden shortcut. You must be good. This is the path of sustainable growth. It is not a secret. It is a foundation. And this foundation is built on 4 essential pillars. The first pillar is mastery. This is the direct antidote to the person who wants to be rich without having any valuable skills. Mastery is the choice. To become exceptionally good at one valuable thing. It is the conscious decision to abandon the fantasy of being a jack of all trades and to embrace the long, the difficult, and the deeply satisfying journey of becoming a true master. This could be any skill. It could be the skill of writing computer code. It could be the skill of managing a team, of carpentry, of marketing, of public speaking, of designing buildings, of nursing. The skill itself matters less than your commitment to mastering it. Mastery is not glamorous. It is not a viral video. It is not a weekend seminar. Mastery is repetition. It is the 10,000 hours we spoke about earlier. It is the boring, daily, disciplined practice. It is the coder. Staying up late, not to trade crypto, but to learn a new programming language. It is the writer. Waking up at 5 in the morning, every morning, to write 1,000 words, even when they do not feel inspired. It is the electrician, getting their hands dirty every day for 20 years until they can diagnose a complex problem just by listening to the hum of a wire. Why is mastery so important? Because a skill that you have truly mastered becomes a part of you. It is an asset that no one can ever take away from you. A market can crash, a business can fail, a boss can fire you, but your skill, your mastery, it stays with you. You can take that mastery, and you can walk to another town, another company, another country, and you can build again. It is the ultimate financial security. The second pillar is process. This is the antidote to the person who is waiting for one big hit, the person waiting for one lucky break, one winning lottery ticket. Sustainable wealth is not built on singular, lucky events. It is built on reliable, repeatable systems. It is built on a process. Look at the most successful businesses in the world. They are not successful because they got lucky one time. They are successful because they have a process that delivers a predictable result to a predictable customer every single day. A fast food restaurant delivers the exact same burger in 2 minutes every single time. That is a process. An online retailer ships you the exact product you ordered and gets it to your house in 2 days. Every single time, that is a process. The noodle soup shop makes the same delicious, hot bowl of soup every single morning. That is a process. You must become a person of process in your own life. This means building systems. It means you stop relying on willpower, you stop relying on feeling like it, and you start relying on your system. Your process for saving money is not, I will save whatever is left over at the end of the month. Your process is 10% of my income is automatically transferred to my investment account the moment I get paid. That is a system. Your process for learning is not, I will read when I have time. Your process is, I read 30 pages of a good book every night before I sleep. That is a system. Your process for your business is not, I will just look for customers. It is, every day, I will make 10 phone calls, I will send 10 emails, and I will post one valuable piece of content. That is a system. Processes are what make your results consistent. They are what separate the professional from the amateur. The amateur waits for inspiration. The professional follows the process. The third pillar is prudent capital management. This is the antidote to the gambler and the debtor. This pillar is about how you treat money once you start to earn it from your mastery and from your process. It is built on a few simple, non-negotiable rules. First, you must save. You must save a portion of everything you earn, not later, now, always. You pay yourself first. This is the bedrock of all financial freedom. Second, you must distinguish clearly between investing and speculating. These are not the same thing. In many ways, they are opposites. Investing is buying an asset that produces value or cash flow. When you buy a share of a good company, you own a piece of a real business that makes real profits. When you buy a property, you own a real building that can produce real rent. You are buying for the long term. You are an owner. Speculating is buying an asset for one reason, and one reason only. You hope the price will go up, so you can sell it to someone else. You are not an owner. You are a gambler. You are betting on price movement. Sustainable wealth is built on investing. Get rich quick is built on speculating. You must know the difference in your bones. Third, you must have a profound, healthy fear of high-risk debt. We are not talking about a sensible mortgage to buy a home to live in. We are talking about debt on your credit card to buy things you do not need. We are talking about borrowing money to speculate on a risky asset. We are talking about the kind of leverage that can wipe you out. Debt is a tool in the hands of a master. It can build things. In the hands of an amateur, it is a weapon. That, almost always, points back at the person holding it. Prudent capital management means you are the master of your money. It is not the master of you. The fourth and final pillar is a long-term horizon. This is the antidote to the person who is chronically impatient. This pillar connects all the others. You must stop thinking in quarters. You must stop thinking in years. You must start thinking in decades. You must make decisions today, based on where you want to be in 10 years, in 20 years. When you have a 10-year horizon, you are willing to learn a skill that is hard, because you know it will pay off. When you enave a 20-year horizon, you are willing to build a process and stick to it. Even when it is boring, when you have a 30-year horizon, You are willing to invest your money in solid, compounding assets and leave them alone. A long-term horizon is a superpower. It allows you to ignore the daily noise. It allows you to ignore the panics, the fads, the new secrets. You are not on their timeline. You are on your timeline. You are not building a firework, bright, loud, and gone in an instant. You are building a pyramid, brick by brick, made to last for thousands of years. Mastery, process, prudent capital management, and a long-term horizon. These are the 4 pillars. This is the foundation. It is not easy. It is not fast. It is not sexy. It is not a secret. It is the blueprint. It is the hard path. It is the real path, and it is the only path. That leads to a destination. That is actually worth reaching. It is the only path to sustainable wealth. Chapter 9. Redefining wealth. More than just a number for 8 chapters. We have used a single word, over and over. We have talked about how to build wealth. We have talked about how to get it, how to protect it, how to build a foundation for it. But we have never stopped to ask the most important question of all. What is it? What is this thing, this wealth, that we are all chasing? If I asked 10 different people, I would get 10 different answers, but most of them would sound like a number. To one person, wealth is $1 million in a bank account. To another, it is 10 million. To another, it is a house, a car, a watch. We have been trained our entire lives to define wealth as an amount, a quantity, a number on a screen, and this is the greatest and most tragic mistake of all, because a number is not a destination. A number is a moving target. The person who thinks $1 million will make them happy gets the 1 million, and they are happy for a day or a week. Then they look at the person who has 5 million, and they feel poor all over again. The person who defines their wealth by their house builds a big house, only to feel small when their neighbor builds a bigger one. This is the game that you can never win. As long as wealth is a number, the number will always be a little bit more. It is a hunger that can never be filled. It is an endless, exhausting, and hollow pursuit. Let's go back to the original inspiration for this journey, to the question that pierces through all of this noise. What good is a fortune if you cannot sleep at night? What good is a massive bank account if it robs you of your peace of mind? If you are constantly terrified of losing it? If you are filled with anxiety and paranoia and stress? What good is a supercar if you have no time to drive it because you are working 80 hours a week to pay for it? What good is a mansion if you are so sick from stress and neglect that you cannot get out of bed? What good is a portfolio worth millions if your mind is a prison of worry and your body is broken and you have no one to share it with because you sacrificed all your relationships on the altar of more? This is the fundamental flaw, the terrible, terrible trade of the get-rich-quick mindset. It is not just that it is risky. It is not just that it is a lie. It is that it actively and aggressively asks you to sacrifice true wealth in a desperate gamble to gain the symbol of wealth. It asks you to trade your health, your sleep, your peace of mind for stress and anxiety and caffeine in pursuit of a number. It asks you to trade your time, your precious, non-renewable, finite time. It asks you to trade the moments with your children, the dinners with your partner, the conversations with your friends, for more hours, grinding, chasing, It asks you to trade your relationships, to see other people, not as human beings, but as contacts, as leverage, as stepping stones, on your path to the top. This is a fool's trade. You are trading gold for paper. You are trading the real for the illusion. So, if wealth is not a number, if it is not a car or a house, what is it? Today, we are going to redefine it. We are going to create a new, a better, a more human, and a more sustainable definition. True wealth is not a single thing. It is a complete and holistic state of being. It is built on 4 pillars. The first pillar, and the most important, is peace of mind. This is the wealth that the video spoke of. The wealth of being able to sleep at night. This is not about being rich. It is about being anti-fragile. It is about being safe. It is the deep, quiet, confident feeling of knowing that you are okay. It is the absence of financial anxiety. It is knowing that if your car breaks down, it is an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. It is knowing that if you get a surprise medical bill, it will not bankrupt you. It is knowing that if you lose your job, you have a cushion, you have time to find a new, good one without panicking. This is the foundation. This is zero. This is the peace. That comes from building your foundation on solid rock. The peace that comes from your mastery, your process, your prudent management. This is the goal. The second pillar is time freedom. Money is a tool. It is not the end goal. It is a tool. And its single most valuable use is to buy back your time. Time is the only asset in your life that is truly, irreplaceably finite. You get a certain number of hours, and you never get any more. Time freedom is the ultimate luxury. It is not about not working. It is about choosing your work. It is about waking up on a Tuesday morning and having the power of no, the power to say no to a project you hate, no to a client who drains your soul, no to a meeting that is a waste of your life. It is the power of yes, the power to say yes to having lunch with your child, yes to taking a walk in the middle of the day, yes to spending a month learning a new skill just because you are curious. Time freedom is autonomy. It is the feeling that your life is your own. The third pillar is health. This is the most obvious and the most ignored pillar of all. We will sacrifice our health for 10 years or 20 years, THLing money, only to then spend all of that money trying to buy our health back. It is an insane trade. Your health, your physical energy, your mental clarity. This is the vehicle that you use to experience your entire life. What good is financial freedom if you do not have the energy to enjoy it? What good is time freedom if your mind is foggy with anxiety and depression? True wealth is waking up and feeling good in your body. It is having the energy to play with your children. It is having the mental clarity to be present with the people you love. You must build your health with the same discipline that you build your bank account. The fourth and final pillar is strong relationships and connection. We are not meant to be alone. We are social, tribal creatures. Wealth is hollow if it is experienced in isolation. We have all seen the stories of the lonely billionaire in their empty mansion. True wealth is the laughter around a dinner table. It is the feeling of trust and respect from your community. It is the deep, unbreakable bond with your family and your friends. It is knowing that you have people in your life who love you for who you are not for what you have. This is wealth, peace of mind, time freedom, health, and connection. Money is a part of this. Absolutely. Money is the tool that helps you build the foundation for peace. Money is the tool that helps you buy back your time. Money is the tool that gives you the resources to protect your health. But it is the tool. It is not the goal. The get-rich-quick mindset fails because it makes money the goal. And in doing so, it sacrifices all the other pillars, the path of sustainable growth, the path of mastery and process and time. It is the only path that allows you to build all four pillars at the same time. So, before you take another step, before you start your journey, you must do this one crucial thing. You must stop and you must define for yourself your own vision of a rich life. Do not let the world, do not let social media, do not let your family define it for you. What does peace of mind look like for you? What does time freedom look like for you? What does health look like for you? What does connection look like for you? Write it down. Make it clear. Because this definition, this why, it becomes your compass. And when you have a compass, you can never be lost in the woods. You will never be tempted by the shiny but hollow shortcuts. You will not be chasing a number. You will be building a life. Chapter 10. Advice for the path. Calm, correct, and resilient. We have traveled a long way together. We began our journey in the dark, surrounded by the noise and the illusions of the modern world. We faced the invisible pressure. We looked directly at the hollow promises of easy money. We walked through the graveyards of the past. We saw the ghosts of the boom and bust cycles. We stood in the ruins of the crypto trader and the property developer. We diagnosed the disease, the poison of arrogance, the trap that blinds us when we win. And then we turned on the lights. We began the work of the architect. We laid a new foundation, a foundation built on the four pillars of mastery: process, prudent capital management, and a long-term horizon. We stood back, and we redefined the very thing we were building. We discovered that true wealth is not a number. It is peace of mind. It is time freedom. It is health. And it is connection. So now we are here, at the end of this part of our journey, and the beginning of yours. You have the blueprint. You have the definition. What is left? What is left is the how. How do you be as you walk this path? What is the character, the mindset, the spirit that you must cultivate to turn this blueprint into a real, lasting fortress of a life? This final chapter is the answer. It is the pivot from what to know to how to be. Let us first address the idea of speed. This journey is not a call to be slow for the sake of being slow. We are not celebrating inaction or endless, pointless patience. The original video asked, is getting rich quick, really quick? And the answer is no. A get-rich-quick scheme is a path to getting poor quick. But building sustainable wealth does not have to be painfully slow. The problem is not fast. The problem is reckless. The problem is not speed. The problem is haste. You can build fast. If your foundation is correct, you can build fast. If you are a master of your craft and you have a solid process. We are not against speed. We are against luck. We are against a path that relies on a lucky bet, a path that relies on a bubble, a path that relies on finding a greater fool. The path we are describing is rooted in a plan. It is rooted in value. It can be fast, but it must be fast and correct. This path requires 3 virtues, 3 qualities of character that you must practice every single day. The first virtue is calm. This is the emotional state of the sustainable builder. This is the antidote to almost every trap we discussed. Calm is the ability to stand in the middle of a hurricane of hype and not be moved. It is the ability to open your social media feed, to see the person on the beach, to see the new crypto millionaire, and to feel nothing, to feel no panic, to feel no anxiety, to feel no fear of missing out. Calm is the detachment from the hysteria of the market. When everyone around you is screaming to buy, 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 when they are blinded by greed, you are calm. You stick to your plan. And when everyone around you is screaming to sell, 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 when they are paralyzed by fear, you are calm. You stick to your plan. This calm is not a passive, sleepy state. It is an active, a powerful, a strategic state of mind. It is the power to sit still, to think, to let the noise fade away, so you can hear the signal. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your foundation is strong, your timeline is long, and your definition of wealth is your own. This is the power to calmly build your wealth. It is the first and most important virtue. The second virtue is correctness. This is the moral framework of the sustainable builder. This is the antidote to the world of shortcuts, loopholes, and secret formulas. Correctness is the commitment to doing things right. It is the understanding that the noodle soup must actually be good. It is the choice to build your business by creating genuine, undeniable value, not by running a clever marketing trick. It is the choice to be an investor who funds a real company that solves a real problem, not a speculator who is just betting on a rising price. Correctness is the ethical path. It means you treat your customers well. You treat your employees well. You pay your partners fairly. You pay your taxes. You build a reputation, not on hype, but on integrity. This path can sometimes feel slower. A person who cuts corners may appear to be winning. In the short term, they may get ahead of you, but a business built on tricks has a short life. A reputation built on lies will always collapse. Correctness is building with steel and concrete. The person cutting corners is building with cardboard. Over the long term, there is no force more powerful, more profitable than a reputation for absolute correctness and integrity. It is the one asset that appreciates for your entire life. The third and final virtue is resilience. This is the mindset that accepts the reality of the path. This is the antidote to the fantasy of a simple, easy, friction-free journey. The path we have described, the path of mastery and process and value. It is not an easy path. It is just the real path. And real means it will be hard. Real means you will have setbacks. Real means you will fail. You will make mistakes. You will have a bad year. Your best idea will fall flat. A project will collapse. You will lose money. The get-rich-quick person, when they hit this first, real obstacle, they are destroyed. Their world ends. They bust. The sustainable builder, the person who is resilient, understands something different. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. They understand that failure is a part of the process of success. They understand that a setback is not a punishment. It is data. It is a lesson. It is the tuition that you pay for your education in the real world. Resilience is the mental fortitude to get knocked down, to feel the pain, and then to ask the question, what did this teach me? Resilience is the ability to learn from that lesson, to get back up, not just the same, but smarter, stronger, wiser. Resilience is the commitment to your long-term horizon. It is the promise to yourself that you will not abandon your 20-year plan just because year 2 was terrible. This is the journey, a journey that you will walk with 3 companions: calm, correctness, and resilience. It is not a sprint to a finish line. There is no single moment where you win and the game is over. It is a process. It is a way of being. It is not a desperate race to become a dragon, hoarding a pile of gold. It is the satisfying, lifelong, noble work of being an architect and a builder. Building your skills, building your business, building your health, building your relationships, and building your peace of mind. This is the message. The path is open. The blueprint is in your hands. The journey is not one of optimistic, blind hope. It is one of optimistic, patient, and intelligent action. Now, go and build. This is the outcome. The race is over. But you did not win. You simply stopped running. You have stepped off the frantic, crowded, and crumbling path, the path of haste and pressure and illusions, and you are now standing on solid ground. This is the result of our journey together. It is not a magical arrival at a finish line. It is not a pile of money delivered to your door. It is something far more valuable. It is a change. In your very foundation, the invisible pressure we spoke of in Chapter 1. It is still there. The world will still scream at you to hurry, to compare, to feel left behind. But it can no longer touch you. Not really, because you can see the performance. You can see the rented cars, the hollow promises, and the house of cards. You see it all for what it is, a show. And instead of anxiety or envy, you feel peace. You are no longer comparing your real life to their highlight reel. You are no longer afraid of being left behind, because you are not in their race. You are on your own path. You are playing a different game, a longer game, a better game. You are no longer a gambler, sitting at a table, praying for a lucky card. You are an architect, standing at a drafting table, holding a blueprint. This is your call to action. Not tomorrow, today. I do not want you to go and build a massive business this afternoon. I do not want you to go and make a large investment. The journey does not begin with a leap. It begins with a step. It begins quietly. I want you to do 2 things. First, find a quiet place, just for 10 minutes. Take out a real piece of paper and write down your definition of wealth. Not the world's, yours. What does your peace of mind look like? What does your time freedom mean? What does your health require? This paper, this is your compass. It is the why that will keep you going. Second, look at the pillar of mastery. Ask yourself, what is the one skill that I will commit to mastering? What is the one thing that I will become so good at that I can build my foundation upon it? You do not have to be a master tomorrow. You just have to choose the path. That is it. Define your compass and choose your path. This is the real beginning. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. The journey is long. The foundation is strong. The work begins.